Hey guys, welcome. As the title suggests, in this video I'm gonna tell you what actually is bore and stroke and how does the bore and stroke ratio affects the performance of any vehicle. So let's get started. I made up a few diagrams and drawings beforehand just to ease up on time. So you might be knowing that almost each and every internal combustion engine has a pair of piston and cylinders. So the actual height of the cylinder or the length the piston travels up and down is called as a stroke, and the diameter is called as a bore. Multiplying bore and stroke ratio gives the actual capacity of an engine. While manufacturing an engine, we actually have two options, that keeping the bore bigger than stroke and another is keeping the stroke bigger than bore. And when the bore is bigger, it is called as over square engine, and when the stroke is bigger, it is called as under square engine. The engines with bigger bore or over square engines are used in motorcycles like KTM, RC200, 390, etc., and most of the Pulsars. There is also in between category when the bore is equal to stroke, and that is used in probably like Honda Shine is the example which I know. Anyways, the another and under square engines are used in motorcycles like Bullet, Harley Davidson, etc. Why are these engines used in these particular models? Probably you will know that by the end of this video. So let's start. Like say we have 100cc engines and we have two options. One is making the same 100cc engine in over square configuration and making the same 100cc engine in under square configuration. As you might be seeing the visible difference here, the height of cylinder is obviously greater than height of the cylinder in over square engine, and the radius here is greater than the radius in under square engine. There are advantages and disadvantages of these both the types of engines, so let us study them. When there is a bigger bore, you get a more powerful engine. As the formula of power goes, work done upon time. In this over square engine or the engine with a bigger bore, what you get is a crank rotates at 360 degree. What will happen as the piston in over square engine will have to travel lesser distance compared to the one in under square engine. For 360 degrees, this piston would have to travel for like say 10 centimeters, but this one did the same job in 5 centimeters. That is why these engines are much more powerful. Another thing comes with these bigger bores is responsiveness. You might have been heard the sound of KTMs and all. As soon as you bring up the throttle, the engine RPM quickly rises, unlike Bullet 350 or 500. Why is it that? Because of the pretty much same reasons, that these engines are more powerful and the piston travels shorter distance for the same work done. Another thing is these engines sustain higher RPM level better compared to engines with bigger stroke. Why is it so? Is again the same reason, that the piston travels smaller height compared to under square engines. This doesn't mean that under square engines are not very good. These engines are also very nice at the job what they do. Under square engines actually have pretty higher torque for the same cc, and the best example would be like say I have here's a bolt and I want to tighten it or maybe loosen it. If I use a 5 centimeter wrench, my hand will have to travel lesser distance, but I would have to put more efforts into it. But the same work can be done with a 10 centimeter wrench. My hand would travel greater distance, but still I would be using pretty less force compared to earlier scenario. So that is the case. The engines, under square engines, usually have really high torque. Take a bullet for example. Another thing comes is the fuel efficiency. As you can see in this diagram, the spark plug is right here in the middle. Most of the manufacturers try to keep spark plug in the middle so as the flame front goes in circular ripples, and by the time it touches the cylinder walls, the combustion completes at least in the central position. So how does these engines have better fuel efficiency than over square engines? Simple answer is that the pistons in this under square engine take a longer time for the same revolution of crank. So as petrol or diesel are not made up of same type of hydrocarbons, some hydrocarbons have a long chain, some have a shorter chain. So what actually happens is, bigger the chain, the more time it needs to burn up. So the valves in this cylinders open pretty late compared to these the ones in over square engine. Another thing is cooling. Like say this engine is running at a particular RPM and the heat generated is like 500 degrees in the center, 500 at this particular point and 500 here. If this is an over square engine, what will happen is the distance from center to the outermost point is greater compared to under square engine. So, and the cooling jacket is, like say if this engine is a liquid cooled engine, the cooling jacket is obviously at the outermost part, so heat will take longer time to reach at this point when compared to the same situation in this engine. So these engines have pretty less cooling. That is the reason why Pulsar 200 NS or maybe KTM 390 have poor fuel efficiency, because they have bigger bore and also needs liquid cooling, while a 500cc bullet can remain air cooled. So I hope that's pretty much it. I might have missed a few points because all of these things were based on solely my research. Thank you for watching, guys. Stay tuned for more videos. Also, I am in search of a topic for my next video, so please let me know in the comment section down below.